Hello, it's Paul Driscoll here, aka the Drisk. Now, I want to tell you about a new thing we're doing at Retro Asylum called Club Retro Asylum. Now, this is a totally free to join club, and basically, all you need to do to join is send an email to us at club@retroasylum.com and you become a member. What do members get? Well, during the year, you'll get a quarterly magazine totally for free. In digital form, I should note. We'll email it to you, and other things such as the occasional newsletter telling you about upcoming retro events so you don't miss out, or other things as well, like for Retro Asylum, perhaps the odd show that we really wanted to highlight to you. It's all about doing that vibe of club Nintendo and, engaging with our listeners a bit more. That's the whole reason we're doing it. So if you join up now, you'll get issue 1, which is this quarterly magazine. And what I decided to do, I thought it'd be fun to do an annual. I have such fond memories as a kid, getting annuals at Christmas and that sort of time of year. So I wanted to recreate that. So this is the book that you will get totally for free if you join. So let's have a quick look. Okay, so as you can see there, usual blurb, introduction, sponsors, and the hosts now. And there you go, got all the issues, all the stuff that we're covering. Just having a look here. Now, I've really tried to give you sort of like games that you probably not played. So, hidden gems. This is one that only recently went up on MAME. It's a brilliant cute 'em up shooter, and I mentioned, and then I point there, of course, to a video that I did of the game as well, so you can see it in action. I'll just go through. Now, that game was made by NMK, which is they've done some brilliant shooters actually, like Thunder Dragon and Saint Dragon, and P-47 Thunderbolt are ones you probably know, and I mentioned some of them there. So well worth a little read there. I then, of course, mentioned Castlevania 3, a game that I've really come to adore. I personally hadn't sat down and properly played that game until the Nestastic episode with the gent that is Alex Mort from the Retro Game Squad, and I adore the game, and I point to that particular podcast where we discussed this game, and also some screenshots and a bit about the game. It's going on. Another magazine focus, Games X. It's a magazine I adore. And we've tried to keep with a lot of hidden gems, so like N2O is another game that I absolutely adore, and done by Anthony Crowther, and sort of mentioned some of the other games that he did. Of course, it's me. I love Outrun, as the cover probably attests to. People who know me will know it's one of my favourite games of all time. So we did an in-depth article all about it, all about the history, some of our memories, some of the many ports that aren't very good, but at least you can work out which ones are good and which ones aren't. The Outrun sequels, the many sequels that people perhaps don't realise. And I also give mention in there to a double video history of the game that I did for Retro Asylum, so you can actually watch it all in action. Some beautiful artwork of the Outrun, some of the boxes and flyers. And then we had Score Attack. I did absolutely terrible on this, but it's such a good shooter. And the beauty is it has a carnival mode, so you can choose 2 minute, 5 minute, or the ordinary game. So we did 5 minutes, 3 attempts, no practice. I I assume the other hosts were honest that they didn't only did 3 attempts. I can only say I did, and I really fluffed my 3 attempts, which is why my score is so bad. But it's a great fun way, see what you guys can do, and see if you can beat the host scores. But of course, I've got looked on the Shoot 'em Ups website, and you can see, admittedly, these are guys that have done practice after practice, but the scores that they got in their 5 minute game. Anyway, it's a bit of fun and great shooter that not too many people know about on the PC Engine or TurboGrafx. Then I mentioned the retro game compilations. A lot of people um, forget how good these retro compilations are. And they do offer more than just MAME because you get interviews and things. And the fact you can pick it up for only a quid these days is wonderful. So I tell a bit of history about each game, the many games on it. Another hidden gem that I love, Bill and Ted's Excellent Game Boy Adventure on the Game Boy, of course. I picked up this cart recently, actually, and I just adore it. It's brilliant. It's like I've been playing it for years on emulator. It's basically reminds me a lot of Chucky Egg or Jumpman, but every level offers something new. We've had quite a few of our listeners write in asking, what books do we recommend for retro gaming or what DVDs. So I thought I'd list out some of them here, some of my favourites. Obviously, it's not going to be a comprehensive list, but it'll give you some indication there. And then on to DVDs. So there's some of my favourite DVDs on retro gaming and where to get them. Yeah, some more examples. And now, on various posts out on the Retro Asylum forums, we've had loads of other people suggest many other classic things to watch. So I've done on the next 2 pages the links here of those other suggested things, and there's a nice selection there that keep you going for ages because a lot of them are direct links. And you notice there as well, I've also put on the Games Master TV shows, all the episodes that someone's uploaded on YouTube, and all the bad influence shows that someone's uploaded. So many memories, and they're such a great retro watch. Because we're trying to keep it sort of fun. We've got the word search as well, to bring back memories and a few jokes and Brent Floss. And then we come to another Jack the Nipper series, so with of course Whizzer and Chips and Sweeney Toddler that inspired the game. Greg Holmes was a great fan of Whizzer and Chips, very much like me. I own all the annuals of Whizzer and Chips. Of course, it was also Whoopi, Sweeney Toddler. That's how he started out. But as you can see there, one thing I hope you're getting across is with this is how bright and colourful I've tried to make this annual. I've really tried to make it feel retro and feel, bright and colourful. Everything there. Anyway, you've got some suggested retro gaming gadgets. Some of my favourite things, or some that I've been a little disappointed with, but such as the aim track gun, but also talking about the EverDrives as well, with Retro Towers. Huge fan of Retro Towers. And also mentioning there just the pitfalls of the SNES EverDrive, because the SNES is a bit more complex in that it had a lot of specialist chips in some of the games, so it's what you do and don't get. So really what I'm pointing out there is the double the price SD to SNES is probably not worth taking the plunge with, because as I've sort of shown, well, the chips that it actually doesn't actually give you the games that you particularly want. Unfortunately, games like Star Fox and Yoshi Island and Super Mario RPG just won't work anyway. So whatever one you buy. So there's quite a few there that won't work. Um, but I do suggest you get the DS1 to DS4 enhancement chip. It's only like $20 more of the cheaper one, the link at the top. That's well worth sort of picking up. Another hidden gem, Klonoa, brilliant game, one of my favourite platformers of all time, needs to be played. Mailbag, now obviously we haven't asked people to write in, so we're not surprised that we've only got 2 letters from people, uh, but they're really nice letters, and I really appreciate when anybody takes any time to say whether they're enjoying the show or enjoying these books that we produce, because we put a lot of effort and our own time, and we do it all for no money. We just do it for the love of it and the retro community. So you guys taking the time to listen and read our contents, and especially come back to us just to say that you enjoyed it what makes it all worthwhile. And talking of how great the retro community is and everything, I've just given a little shout out there to Mads DK, great guy, and his website that he does, the Retro Gaming Club, where they play a game each month and it gets mentioned on Retro Gaming Squad, is fantastic, and he's doing some brilliant retro stuff as well. Like he's been playing all the CD32 games, the Amiga CD32, doing brilliant videos on them, and such a shame he does not getting the views that he really should deserves for the amount of effort. So I really strongly suggest you take a look at his videos and what have you. Just a really nice guy, and it's a really good site, so well worth a look. I've created a board game as well, so it's a lot of fun here. I think it's a brilliant board game that I've produced. It mixes in elements of the Pac-Man board game and party games. So you basically have a counter or penny placed on each square. So you're throwing the dice, so one dice moves you, one that you choose can move the bad guy, either 3 or 4 squares, depending on if it's 1 to 3 or 4 to 6 that's rolled. So that's the Pac-Man element, where you're sort of trying to put the bad guys into the path of your opponents whilst collecting yourself as many coins. So there's that element, but as well as that, every time you land on a square, there is a sort of party game involved. So Doodlebug is like Pictionary, Mime is like charades, 20 questions is, well, like 20 questions, you got 20 questions you can ask to guess the game. Name as many games is a bit like categories, where you sort of have to guess the first one in. What do you think is like an open up quandary question, and who am I? Um, is where you try and describe the game without. It's a bit like Taboo, where you describe the game without using telling the game what the game is. So they're some of the best party games out there. Um, Selecting them is all rather clever with dice rolls. So you'd roll one die to see which column. So, for example, just on the name a game, you'd roll one die, say you rolled a 3, so it's column 3, and then you roll the 2 dice together, and that, will tell you what you've chosen. So, for example, you've rolled a 3 on the column, and then you rolled a 2. So it's like, platform games, okay. Platform games, and then you roll to see which letter. So I roll, and okay, it's come back with 4, so it's in the second column, and then you've rolled, an 8. So you're like, okay, platform games. I've got to think of platform games beginning with the letter S. So, obviously Super Mario Brothers, and you can go through all of them. And the idea is all the team members are doing that, and they would cross out, so you've only got the unique ones. So it really helps if you've got good retro knowledge with some of these party games. And same with, Doodlebug, similar thing if you're rolling, you would come up with a game like Tomb Raider or something like that, and you would have to draw it out or mime it out to try and get people to guess. So I hope it's a lot of fun. There's just a summary of all the points, because you basically get points for each challenge, and you also get points for each coin you collect up, and you keep playing till either all the coins have been collected, or or counters, or um, you have 3 lives, and every time an enemy runs into you. So if you die, um, then you lose life, obviously. So that's the other way the game will end, is if there's only one person, one counter on hero counter left alive, then the game ends, and it's all about how many points. So I think it's a lot of fun. It's like any party game, you need at least 4 people. But having said that, as I mentioned in that mod the game there, you can have less. If you have 3, you can have one act uh, as the games master, sort of like helping with the challenges. An impartial person just helping him fun. Or even if you've only got 2 people, you can you you can just do the challenges and have fun. And if there's more people and they're not into gaming, you can easily change those tables, or make your own tables on any topic. It doesn't have to be retro gaming. It can be on TV shows. It can be on soaps. It could be on Star Wars, whatever it is. Whoever's sort of interested. It all works as a game. And you can even, if you really want, just forget about sort of that, and everybody just choose from the top of their head of a game they want to choose. You don't have to use the lists that I provided. I just did that to be a bit of free. But yeah, it's all there, all a bit of fun. Then finally, I just mentioned some of the other books and stuff that you can get. They're all free, and the links are there. So there you go. That's the club Retro Asylum. It's, I think, a great annual. We certainly had a lot of fun putting it together, and I really hope this club Retro Asylum will be a success, because I think it's a great way of bringing the retro community together even more. And so far, it has been an amazing success, because we only did a tweet yesterday, and we've already got 60 members, which is fantastic, really, when you consider that's not really even advertising. That's just mentioning to people. And none of those people are my mum either. So I'll have 61 members once my mum joins. I doubt she will. But yeah, anyway, have a great Christmas, or if after this, I hope you had a great Christmas. And until next time, see you later.